This is I Was 8, a weekly personal journal storytelling podcast. I'm Larry Fedoruk, and these are my stories. On this podcast next week, tickets. Who needs tickets? But now, this week's story.
Season 4, Chapter 7, The Boy Scouts.
When I was 8, someone in our small town decided we needed a Boy Scout troop. I was not involved in the decision-making process. No kid was. Grown-ups ran our town. Well, I guess that wasn't such a bad idea. Mayor Larry would have closed all the schools, moved City Hall to the candy store, erected a Pepsi fountain downtown, and promised a TV in every room. Vote for me. Adults belong to a lot of groups: Lions Club, Church Group, Chamber of Commerce, Farmers Alliance, political parties, the Top Secret Federation of Grown-Ups. Oh, you don't think there's one of those, do you? How else did most households have the same kid rules? Why did most parents agree on what kids should and should not do? My friend Peter's mom used to let us eat cake in front of the TV. I would think. She's not one of them. She has not been indoctrinated into the Federation, at least not yet. I don't know how they communicated, where and when they met, but there was a federation. I was pretty sure of that. That's why Mom and Dad never let you go through their purse or wallet. You'd find their secret membership card. Belonging to all those groups probably made grown-ups think that kids should belong to groups. The farm kids already had a 4-H club. We had Girl Guides and Brownies in town, so I guess the Secret Federation decided we needed something to keep the young boys out of trouble. Ergo, Boy Scouts. The name exuded goodness. Why, the kid's a regular Boy Scout. As diabolical as they were, they failed to recognize from the get-go that the very young males who caused all the town's trouble would never join the Boy Scouts. Just the rest of us. And we were already mostly good. But, all right, Boy Scouts. The town's Roman Catholic priest was volunteered to be our Boy Scout leader, Father Leslie. Since you've already gone there, let me address this right now. Yes, our town's Boy Scout leader was also a Catholic priest. Some historical records don't exactly paint that combination as beneficial in the realm of youth leadership. Let me say, nothing bad ever happened. Outside of boring Boy Scout activities, Father Leslie was a great guy, dedicated to the community, helped coach hockey, absolved sins, and now was leader of the Scouts. Where did he find the time? The only whisper about Father Leslie was that he liked to dip into the sauce occasionally. So did most men in town. Maybe it helped him get closer to his Lord. More sacramental wine, my disciple? Yes, don't mind if I do. Is that sacramental bourbon I see? There was never any aroma of sauce at our Boy Scout meetings. Larry, you're joining the Boy Scouts. Why? Because I said so. Yes, interesting. What are my other options? None. You're joining the Boy Scouts. Well, you make a compelling case. My final decision, therefore, is I will be joining the Boy Scouts. The first meeting was in the high school gymnasium. Ooh, high school. Attending were many of my friends who had also recently received their Boy Scout draft notice. At this meeting, many of the parents came along, well, mostly dads, as this was Boy Scouts. And in the day, role modeling and activity assignments were still along gender lines. We each got a catalog, a thin one, maybe more like a pamphlet, cataflet, Pamalog? Well, anyway, It illustrated all the Boy Scout gear our parents would have to purchase. Suddenly, Dad didn't think this was such a great idea anymore, but too late. After paying a fee to get into this exclusive club, we still had to go out of pocket for a Boy Scout shirt, a Boy Scout scarf, Boy Scout belt, and other Boy Scout paraphernalia we would need to properly execute the duties of scouting, whatever those could be. I flipped through the pages. Hold on. At some point, once you become an official Boy Scout and earned enough badges, you were eligible to purchase the official Mountie hat. Well, Boy Scout hat, but it looked just like a Mountie hat. Smokey the Bear hat. Dad, I want the hat. Shut up. As Father Leslie talked on about Boy Scouts, I still wasn't really sure what we did as Scouts. What I was beginning to understand that whatever it is that we would be doing, we'd have to do it together. Boy Scout troop. I see. Herd us all together just like school. Easier to keep track of us and report back to the Federation. I wasn't a big joiner. Some of my favorite activities included TV and comic books. Those did not require a group dynamic for maximum enjoyment. I kept flipping through the pages. No badges for watching TV or reading comic books. What kind of organization are you running here? For a first meeting, none of this was very impressive. Well, there was the hat. Then they wheeled out a big rack with shirts on hangers. Boy Scout shirts in many different sizes. Those we didn't have to order. Those we had to buy right there and then. One by one we lined up with a parent to pick out our size and buy the Boy Scout shirt. Cash or checks accepted. No badges, no scarf, no hat, just the shirt. You had to earn the rest. We all put them on. And my idiot friend Philip said, "Hey, look, we're all brown shirts." And we all started calling ourselves brown shirts. That lasted about 7 minutes until Father Leslie said the name would not be allowed, and he never wanted to hear it again. Yes, Father Leslie. This was like the beginning of a uniform, and a uniform felt like the army. So that was cool. Eventually, we'd all get those scarves, the kerchiefs, and the Mountie hats. Which, of course, led Clark Kozlinski to ask the question we were all wondering about. Father Leslie, eventually will we all get guns? No, there will be no guns. What about bows and arrows? There's an archery badge in here. Well, maybe. Okay, bows and arrows, the hats, things were looking up. At the end of the meeting, Father Leslie gave us each a card. It contained the Boy Scout oath. We were to memorize it, and at the second meeting next week, we'd be sworn in. The Scout promise. I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and the Queen. God and the Queen. To help other people at all times. And to carry out the spirit of the Scout law. We got home, Mom said, "How was Scouts?" "Not bad. I got a new shirt. I might get to shoot a bow and arrow and get a Mountie hat. And next week, we're all going to swear with Father Leslie." That's nice. Dad told Mom that the Boy Scouts were going to nickel and dime us to death. I don't recall that part of the meeting. How would nickels and dimes kill you? I guess if there were enough of them, or you ate a bunch, or, you shot a nickel out of a slingshot and it hit you right in the temple. I drifted off that night dreaming of the hat, but also worrying about being killed by loose change. We were sworn in at the second meeting, and that meeting, along with many others, it was mostly Father Leslie talking about the values important to Scouts everywhere. Yeah, we know, helping people. It felt a lot like school, frankly, except at the end, we got to play dodgeball at the high school gymnasium. I took this as a glimpse into high school life. A lot of talking, and then dodgeball. When are we getting the scarves and the badges and the hats? Eventually, said Father Leslie. Let me translate eventually. To a kid, that means forever. There are two standards of time when you're a kid. Either stuff happens immediately, or it takes forever. There is no in-between. At one point, Father Leslie told us that if we formed a really good troop, still had no idea how we're going to do that, we could travel to a huge camp-out with Boy Scouts from all over Canada. Oh, they're nickel and diming me again. What's that, Dad? Nothing. And the camp-out was called a jamboree. Ooh, a jamboree, like Don Messer's jamboree on the CBC. I know, two people in the world are going to get that reference, but you know, it was a very popular show at the time on the CBC, or as my grandma called it, the CBC. They had music, singing, dancing. No, said Father Leslie, that's Don Messer's Jubilee. This would be a jamboree. Well, Jubal or Jambor, I didn't care. It sounded fun. Slowly, we started to earn our badges, merit badges, that Mom had to sew onto my shirt. Why don't you earn a sewing badge so you can do this yourself? May I point out, Mother, that none of this was my idea. So sew it up. I'm late. Drew a picture, got an art badge. In school, you only got gold stars. These were much better. One day, we went out to the edge of the high school field near the trees and pretended to camp out for about an hour. Bingo, got a camping badge. I roasted a weenie on the fire. Cooking badge. After dodgeball, athletics badge. My brown shirt was starting to look pretty cool. Then one day, forever was over, and the kerchiefs and hats came into town. Nickels and dimes, nickels and dimes. The kerchiefs didn't even have to be tied up around your neck. They came with a gold ring, solid gold, I believe, that you looped your scarf through. Oh man, we looked good. Waka Boy Scout troop in service of Gord and the Queen. Strict rule, the hats and scarves were to be worn to Boy Scout meetings only. Philip and I kept that rule for less than a day. Next morning, we were out playing cowboys and cavalry. Bang, you're dead. No, I'm not. You missed me. Bang, you're dead. No, wait. I thought we were on the same army. Time out. Kid rule, you were allowed timeouts in a gunfight. I bent the front brim of my hat up so that it looked more like the one John Wayne wore in that movie. You know the one? That movie where he has a hat and he's on a horse? Yeah, basically ruined the hat. I broke it. I broke my Boy Scout hat. Before the next meeting, when Dad asked me where my hat was, I told him we didn't have to wear them to the meeting today. And then at the meeting, I told Father Leslie I forgot my hat at home, thereby earning my lying badge. I was telling the truth when I told Father Leslie that the dog ate my kerchief. He actually did. Well, not the whole thing, but enough of it so that it would have failed inspection. Eventually, I grew out of my shirt and sold the solid gold ring to Farley Flanagan for 15 cents and an almost like new Jughead comic book. I know it's a lot, but after all, that ring was solid gold. I don't remember how the Boy Scouts thing ended. Despite Father Leslie's wonderful efforts, I think we just stopped going. And we disbanded, or unbanded, or debanded, or abandoned, I guess. No more badges, no Jubilee or Jamboree, whichever one. Neither. Still had a cool hat for playing cowboys. Dad had a chance again to get some nickels and dimes back together. And us kids were once again left to our own devices. That is until the top secret Federation of Grown-Ups came up with a new plan. Some of us heard some talk about something called the Junior Achievers. Oh no. now we're gonna have to achieve something? That's gonna take like forever.
Thanks for listening to I Was 8, a weekly podcast voiced, written, and produced by Larry Fedoruk. This podcast is available on most major platforms, or check out the I Was 8 YouTube channel. Larry Fedoruk, that's Fedoruk, can be reached at larryfedoruk37@gmail.com.
Dancing to the idols tonight.